Bone Porch Premiership players Josh Money. He's now GM of Footy Ops at Melbourne, and he joins us now. Josh, well done, mate. Congratulations on your new appointment.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ray. Yeah, it's been a interesting stage for me, coming straight out of playing into coaching and the move now into an admin role, which I've been in for a year and a half. It's an exciting time to be with Melbourne and looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're hearing you're the rising star of Melbourne, Josh.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think you're going to touch that to someone who's new to a role.
Okay. Hey, Bernie Vince, he met with you guys. Where's it all at?
Yeah, so we were interested in Bernie. We think that our list profile at the moment, we can accommodate for an older player or a more experienced player. Obviously, we see him as a big-bodied midfielder, and really when we lost Colin Sylvia through free agency, he's about the same age as Bernie and played a similar role. That's when we started to be really interested. We met with him on Friday. He was going overseas, so we just thought if anything was to happen in the next few weeks, it was important that we spoke to him and medicaled him before he went away, and that's where we're at.
So, Josh, give us a bit of an update on the conversation. Is this just purely like a speculative one, just to meet him, see if he sort of fits your criteria, or do you take it a little further down the track than that?
No, well, during this time, we meet with a number of different players, and it just happened that this one became obviously public, but we've met with a number of different players from different clubs, and it is, the stages are for us, we don't bring anyone into our club without meeting them first and medicaling them first, and that's the process we've done with Bernie. Now It's a conversation between the Crows and Bernie and the Crows and ourselves, and if we can get a deal done and Bernie's happy to come to Melbourne, well, hopefully that will eventuate.
Was he interested?
Yeah, I think his discussions when he first heard about Melbourne, he had a perception like a lot of people that we're a long way off. But when you look at our team on paper, from a tools point of view, down back we've got James Frawley, Tom McDonald, Cole Garland, so we're pretty well settled down there. From the forward line, on paper again, unfortunately they never actually got out in the park together, but Chris Dawes, Mitch Clark, as tall forwards. We've got young Jesse Hogan coming through, who performed extremely well in the VFL, so we're well set up there. And then through the midfield, that's where we've got to add some depth, and we've got some young players. And when Bernie sort of looked at that, he probably agreed with everyone else that we're not as far away as most people think.
Where's it been left then, Josh, with Bernie?
Yeah, so we met with him on Friday. He went back to Adelaide on the weekend, and my understanding is now on his way to Las Vegas or to America, so we haven't heard anything from our meeting.
Have you offered him a deal?
No, we haven't offered him a deal as yet. Haven't
offered his manager a deal?
No.
No. And what about Jared Lyons? Where's he at in the shuffle?
Yeah, again, Jared is a player of interest for us. Again, he falls in the category of a number of players that we've looked at. We're looking at a range of players through our midfield, and when he's played at AFL level, he's looked very good. He's had some really good form at Glenelg, and again, it's a similar situation that with every deal to get done, there's three parties that have to agree to it. It's the Crows in this situation, ourselves, and then the player. And if it all works out well, the deal gets done. If not, he's very happy to stay at Adelaide and he'll perform well.
How keen was Jared?
I think it's hard to get a gauge from the players when they do come over and they meet with the club and you present something. You always get the feeling that it always went okay, but when they walk away, they've obviously got a club that they've got great relations with and their own situations they've had with other players. So it's a tough one to read, but we just feel that as a club we just put our best foot forward and we'll see how it goes.
Hey Josh, I'd be interested to know how you're selling your footy club at the moment. I mean, you're speaking to both Bernie Vince and Jared Lyons coming from the Crows, which has been, I guess, in footy terms, a relatively successful environment, and trying to encourage their move to Melbourne, which I guess has got some perceived issues to deal with. Some of them are real and some of them are probably fantasy. What sort of dialogue do you have with them about the past and the future under Paul Roos?
Yes, we speak a lot. I think when players are looking to move clubs, there's a few things that are obviously very important. They want to see that the club is serious about being successful, and the things that come with that is making sure the players have got every opportunity to succeed, and they look at facilities, what type of facilities they've got, the coaching structure, who the coaches are, then have a look at the playing list. And once you can tick off all those boxes, well, then you're a chance to attract the player. We think that we've moved now into Amy Park. It's one of the best facilities. It's one of the newest facilities going around. So we ticked that. We think by getting Paul Roos, he's arguably one of the most successful coaches going around. He's got a history of success. He's going to put a coaching team around him. So from that point of view, we're well covered. We think our playing list is developing. it's certainly not as bad as 17th on the ladder. So we think we've got a lot of upside to be selling to players at this stage.
I've heard you put it, I guess, out in the market that you're after midfielders. Are you after both of them? Is it one first in, best dressed, or would you take both?
It's a lot of our discussions over. We're 1 week into this trade period, and there's another couple of weeks to go, and it's about the net result in the end.
Okay.
Is what players we can attract with pick 2, which we've openly said he's also out there and open to dealing with. It's what deal we end up doing there, and then what we land from then on, and might get to the situation that gets to the end of trade period and we look at a more experienced player again. So It's hard to put a handle on what it will look like now. It's just at the end of the whole period we'll make an assessment, and hopefully we've got 2 or 3 midfielders into our mix.
You're waiting for Bernie or Lyon or their manager to say yes. Is that the next stage, Josh?
That's usually how it goes. If first of all the player has to agree that he wants to be moved to a club, and ideally he nominates the club. And then it's an opportunity for both clubs to get a deal done.
Are you anticipating Bernie Vince or Jared Lyons to nominate your club?
Well, that's why we meet with players. We meet with them because we want to attract them.
Okay. Is Bernie Vince worth pick 2?
Our discussion is not around pick 2.
Okay. Is Bernie Vince worth pick 20?
At this stage, we'll leave those negotiations till we get to that.
Okay. Is Bernie Vince and Jared Lyons worth pick 2?
That's not in our discussion.
It's not in your discussions?
No.
You know what? It's the perfect marriage, I reckon, Josh, because the Crows are desperate for a first rounder and you're desperate for an elite midfielder or 2. I reckon that's a good deal, Josh.
What's that, pick 2?
Yeah, pick 2 for those 2 players.
Okay,
Tell me if I'm wrong.
Feel free, Josh.
No, I think at this stage...
I'd do that deal.
Well, you're not the list manager for Melbourne, are you?
No, I'm not. I tell you what, Jared Lyons is going to be a rocket. An absolute inside, elite, ball-using, distributing, good decision under pressure midfielder. Josh, have I sold him?
You've sold him, and we've watched enough vision and watched him enough live to and that's why we're talking to him.
Mind you, I don't want to lose him.
Yeah, good point. You've obviously got other midfielders in the mix, Josh?
Yes, we have.
Daniel Cross, one of those?
Again, with Daniel, we've spoken to him, and that's going to be more of when we look at the end of the trade period. If we want to add some experience, and if we do, he's a great person to add into our footy club.
I'd be interested to know where Jack Trengove is and Jimmy Toumpas. We've watched a couple of the South Aussie boys with you during the year, and we've watched a difficult year, and a couple of kids have some good moments and some tough moments. How have you rated them after the season?
I think both of them were victims of a slower pre-season. Jack Trengove was going extremely well pre-Christmas, and then he had a flare-up of a foot injury, which took a period of time. He missed 6 to 8 weeks, and he played a lot of catch-up during the season, which nowadays you can't do. If you don't get a solid period of pre-season, probably from Christmas time to when games start, it's pretty difficult to get yourself up and going. And Jimmy as well, he missed a lot of footy over the 2 years prior to us drafting him, so we were understanding that he was going to be a little bit slower, having an impact in the first year. Still very comfortable that he's going to be a very good player for us. And it's frustrating for him because he looks around and sees these mates that he was playing footy against, and they're all performing well and playing regularly every week, and he was a little bit behind them. So we think with a pre-season under his belt, he'll be a player who'll show a lot of improvement next year.
Hey, Josh, both are, not telling you anything, both are super kids with great footy heads and really good personalities. Are they both long-term? Feel like you're still as bullish on them now as you were a couple of years ago?
Yes, we are, and we think that's why we think with they'll both be part of our midfield for a long period of time, and we just think they just need some help in that area, and that's why we're speaking to the players that we are speaking to. If we can bring some players in, that's going to only help Jack Trengove and Jimmy Toumpas and Jack Viney. That they're going to develop along together and make up a really strong midfield. You've
got a nice little South Australian midfield just building there. You only need a couple more and you'll be Crows Mac too.
That's right, yeah. We do have quite a few South Australians, and it's all national games, so they come from everywhere.
Has Henderson been spoken to by your club?
No, we haven't spoken to her.
Okay. Now, I know you won't want to reveal strategies, but what other clubs have shown interest in your pick too?
We've had probably 4 or 5 who have been generally interested in pick 2, and a little bit of it around potentially getting involved with pick one. Obviously, pick one at this stage it would be Boyd, and seen as a key forward who are often the hardest to get onto your list. So a lot of teams are putting together some packages, not always just one player, but involving a player plus some draft picks and some swapping of draft picks. So probably got 4 or 5 clubs who have been realistically interested in pick 2.
Okay. Are you interested in pick 1 so you can get Boyd by the sounds there, Josh? Just reading between the lines.
Again, I think from a tall point of view, that's probably the one area that we're well placed with the number of tools we've got. You could argue that you never have enough tools, and you can move the guys around. Some forwards can play centre half back, and you can manage that way. But I would think that with our makeup of our list right now, that's probably an area that we don't need to be filled.
So are the Crows leading the charge for your second round pick? Is that what they're charging after, Josh? Can you reveal that for us?
No,
because we've heard they want it. We heard they're desperate for it. They'd love to get their hands on James Aish if he goes too.
Oh, pick 2 you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, no, at this stage, a lot of our discussion is probably they're the other clubs ahead of the Crows at this stage.
Okay. Have you got a timeline on Bernie Vince and Jared Lyons where their management needs to get back and say, we've picked you guys?
No, I think that a lot of it will be dictated by their decision-making. If they made up their mind today and said that they wanted to come to Melbourne, well, they'll obviously speed things up. If they need some extra time, this period goes for another 2 weeks, so not until Friday at 2 o'clock has to be an agreement done. So as much as we'd love to speed it all up and get it all done, sometimes it doesn't work that way.
So you can't just throw a 4-year deal in front of Bernie Vince and hope he says yes. Is there a persuasion you can use from your behalf if you desperately want him? Because it's now in his court, isn't it? It's up to the player now.
Oh, there's always avenues you can do if you desperately want someone.
Okay. Josh, mate, absolutely brilliant. Thanks for your time. We'll never forget you over here as a Port Adelaide Premiership player, doing a terrific job over there. I know it's a busy time and we didn't want to probe too deeply, but we're very concerned about our 2 clubs, although we didn't speak about Port. Here's one, Josh. Any Port players on your damn radar?
No, they're flying at the moment.
Aren't they?
Any players to them.
Yeah.
No, they've done extremely well, and we see a lot of what Port Adelaide did last year as a good opportunity for us next year. They made some changes. They added a new coaching structure, and they've got some players on the park, got some players fit, and to play this the way they play and to make finals is a real inspiration for us as a footy club.
All right, Josh, well done, well played, and we'll speak next time.
Good on you guys. Thanks for that.
Josh Money, General Manager of Footy Ops at Melbourne. Well, there's the latest. The players just have to pick. When they do, Melbourne want him.
Melbourne want him. Bernie, Vince, Jared Lyons. A couple of good picks. 2 the Crows won't want to let go. Not without a fight.
Well, I reckon it's worth pick 2.
Got to be worth pick 2.
Well, don't you reckon?
Of course it is.
Done. Josh Money, our guest.
Worth pick 2.